I call the meeting to order. Doug Criddle, will you lead us in pledge?
Would everyone please stand?
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
A certificate administrator for the 2024-25 school year. And we have a number of student discipline under expulsions. EH 23-2449 through EH 23-24-51, EH 23-2455, EH 23-2456, EH 23-2458. Those expulsions were approved by the board unanimously. Under suspended expulsion contracts, EH 23-24-45 through EH 23-24-48, then EH 23-24-57, EH 23-24-59 through EH 23-24-63. All those expulsion contracts were approved unanimously by the board. We accepted staff recommendations. And finally, revoked suspended expulsion contracts. EH 23-24-33 and EH 23-24-36. Those revoked expulsion contracts were approved by the board unanimously. We accepted staff recommendations. Now we have board comments. Mr. Steeman.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see everybody here. I hope everybody enjoyed their spring vacation the last couple of weeks, and I hope everybody had a great March 31st for Easter, where we celebrated the resurrection of Christ. Is there anything I'm forgetting that day? Nope, that's it. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you. Dr. Chen. Alison Hasty.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for committing to the students of our community. Thank you.
Doug Criddle. Frank?
Well, just a note, as I drove in from Sacramento today, I seen, it seems like every day, all the new housing in Plumas Lake. I know it's not our territory, but how are they going to school these kids in 10 years? I mean, it's crazy. That's just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Gary Criddle.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Well, we certainly hope that you had a good spring break, and we're in for the last round, and it looks like we're going to have some beautiful weather. And we really, really appreciate the community involvement with our schools, as well as with our meetings. So thank you very much. Now we have recognitions.
Good evening, President Davis, members of the board, community members, my colleagues on the cabinet. It's that time of the evening where we get to highlight some of our best and brightest students and staff in our district, as well as contributors from the community, and that's who I'm going to start with tonight. Honoring the CTE District Advisory Committee. The CTE Advisory Committee provides valuable input on our career technical education programs. As you know, the CTE prepares learners for the world of work by introducing them to workplace competencies and by providing hands-on experiences made possible by the contributors of our CTE Advisory Committee. There's 29 members, some of them who are here tonight, so we're asking them to come forward. We thank you for supporting our students in our programs and for making our CTE programs top-notch. Our CTE Advisory Committee, please come forward. We also want to ask Ms. Larson to come on up. And if you would, please introduce our committee members who are here.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure to introduce, first of all, Don Blazer, who is a supervisor with Yuba County. We have Jackie Silman, who works at the Yuba Water Agency and supports all of our schools all the time. And also Mr. John Fleming from Ampla Health.
Want to get in there, Jamie? Yes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We also have some recognition this evening for Marysville High School FFA students. First of all, may we call up Deanna Good-Webb. Deanna is a California State winner for her agri-science project in environmental science and natural resources. Deanna will move on to the national convention competition. Congratulations, Deanna. Timothy Sanders. Timothy is also a California State winner for his agri-science project in environmental science and natural resources. And Timmy will also move on to the national convention. Kendall Jensen. Kendall is a second place winner for her agri-science project in environmental science and natural resources. And finally, Gabriela De Vargas, who is also a second place winner for her agri-science project. Congratulations to all of you, and please pose for pictures.
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations and thank you. We're done. Tonight we also have CSY and AXA Region 2 award winners. And if I may please call them up, Miss Tracy Pomeroy. Tracy is awarded as the CSY, which stands for Calusa, Sutter, and Yuba County Elementary Principal of the Year. And she was also recognized as the AXA 2 Principal of the Year. Congratulations, Miss Pomeroy. David Jones. Mr. Jones was awarded the CSY Continuation Ed Options Administrator of the Year. Congratulations, Mr. Jones. Angela Salcedo. Ms. Salcedo is being recognized as a CSY Confidential Employee of the Year. Congratulations, Ms. Salcedo. And Mr. Doug Trower. Mr. Trower is also being recognized as a CSY Facilities Maintenance Administrator of the Year. Congratulations.
Mr. J. Trujillo being recognized as CSY District Central Office Administrator. He is also the AXA Region 2 Award winner.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I tried to pull a fast one, didn't work. We are also finally recognizing our March Outstanding Performance Recognitions for both students and staff. And tonight I'm going to ask the students to come on down and be recognized. Annabella Cordova from Cedar Lane. Okay, so I went at it. You know what? We're going to call your name twice. You're so special. I got discombobulated. We do have another award this evening that we want to highlight, special recognition. This award is called the Heart of Inclusion Award, and it's being, we're highlighting our child development team in conjunction with our special education department. The MJUSD Child Development Program is this year's recipient of the Bridget Elay Heart of Inclusion Award for their work and dedication to inclusion. Over the past several years, the Child Development Program and special education teams have built a system that instills a sense of community and belonging for everyone who walks through their doors. There's a lot of them. Whew. If I may, just once again, I just want to highlight what this award was received for. Over the past several years, the child development and special education teams have built a system that instills a sense of community and belonging for everyone who walks through their doors, including our moderate to severe special education students. This award is only one of 3 across the state. And MJSU is proud to acknowledge the teams that celebrate their accomplishments. Congratulations.
Ready, 1,
Pictures.
3. Thank you. All right.
Congratulations, all of you. And now, again, our March Recognition Award winners, students and staff, may I please call up once again, proudly, Annabella Cordova from Cedar Lane. Minaya Pow from Cedar Lane. Alina Benitez from Browns Valley. Sebastian Sanchez from Ella. Esmeralda Sivley from Kynoch. Samantha Terriquez from Lyndhurst High School. And Ira Geist from Yuba-Sutter. All right, hey, you young folks, come right here to the middle. Come right here to the middle. We are so very proud of you. Stand tall, smile.
Ready? 1. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations. And of course, great students come by way of great staff. Tonight in attendance, we are happy to call up Amy Tao from Arboga. Austin Nielsen from Cedar Lane. Maria Soto from Cedar Lane. Lori Guy from the district office. Ana Correa from the superintendent's office. Elizabeth Williams from Edgewater. And finally, Melanie Staniland from Lyndhurst High School.
Okay, perfect. Excuse me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Congratulations, you make us proud.
Okay. We are at the reports from the school site representatives. Marysville High School. Please state your name.
Good evening, board. My name is Maya Spallino. My name is Maya Spallino, and I serve as the ASB Vice President for Marysville High School. I'm here to update you all on all of the exciting events happening here at MHS. Since I've last seen you, ASB has worked hard on our month of staff and student appreciation in March. We ding-dong ditched staff members with baskets full of positivity and hosted staff shout-outs in the morning announcements. For student appreciation, we hosted vibe cards with free snacks and water during passing periods as a little pick-me-up for students. MARP also just passed the week before break. We had a great turnout and hosted a costume party for all those who attended and dressed up with their friends. Looking ahead, prom is right around the corner and we'll be having it at the 530 with the theme Cloud 9. From now until April 19th, tickets are on sale for $45 per person, but will go up to $55 after this week. For our seniors, graduation is right around the corner, and the senior class has been busy planning our senior trip to Six Flags, Senior Sunset, and our graduation ceremony on May 31st. I hope to see you all there. That is all I have to report for now, but thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Lyndhurst High School. Please state your name.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Falazrani, and everyone here today. My name is Diane Ortega Moreno, and I'm Lyndhurst ASB president. I'm very excited to share with you events currently happening at Lyndhurst. Although this past month has been really exciting for us, on March 15th, we successfully hosted our first food day of the year. Many clubs were able to participate and raise money, and students enjoyed the delicious food clubs had to offer. Now moving on to our amazing clubs. Latino Heritage Club will be introducing Latino Legacy, which will help show the importance of literature and culture through literature and culture together. Latino Legacy will help enhance students' voices, self-identity, and writing skills. The students will have writing workshops and small presentations to help strengthen their writing and use their voices. A final project will be assigned to present in a ceremonial event for the community and their loved ones. Hmong Culture Club is now preparing for their Hmong Culture Festival at Lyndhurst on May 3rd from 4 to 7 p.m. This event will feature games and performances. Lyndhurst Music has sent a band of 15 students from across the 3 LHS ensembles and a choir of 10 to the World Strides Heritage Festival this past weekend in Anaheim, California. Both the band and the choir earned a national ranking of silver, which placed these students in the 80th percentile for scoring and the top 20% of musician performances across the nation. In addition, the combined band also earned a first place in their division, and Lyndhurst High School was awarded the Spirit Award for their continued professionalism and representation of good character that World Strides holds in the highest regard. This is the second time LHS Music has earned this award out of all the 3 heritage festivals they've participated in. Lyndhurst Music will also be traveling to Arboga, Olivers, and Ella in the coming weeks for the community concerts with the elementary schools. And on April 27th, Wind Ensemble will head to Sac State to perform at the Golden Empire. Tennis senior night was tonight, and with a successful season, they have won 9-3, and Lyndhurst is very proud of their accomplishments. Avid will be having their spring semester college trip to University of Nevada, Reno on Friday, April 19th as part of the Nevada-bound campus experience. Prom, hosted by the junior class, is this Saturday, April 20th at the Southridge Estates in Sutter. The theme is Garden Gala. The last day to purchase pre-sale tickets will be this Thursday, as students are not able to purchase tickets at the door. For future events, we will be hosting a staff softball game on May 1st. Students are encouraged to come out and support and also enjoy the snack bar that will be open that day as well. Graduation for seniors this year will be on May 30th at Yuba College, and with graduation around the corner, leadership is now preparing for ASB elections as well as planning the exit rally, where seniors are honored and are able to say their final goodbyes. Finally, we have all seen the great progress on the new truck project. Students and staff are very excited for the upcoming year. Thank you for your time, and I hope you all enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Marysville Charter Academy for the Arts. Please state your name.
Hello, District Board members. Good evening. My name is Garrett Granger, to our Trustees, as always, never changes. And I am the ASB President of Marysville Charter Academy for the Arts. So I don't have too much to report on since it's less than 2 weeks since spring break started, or ended. But we had two very big events this last weekend. So we had our annual carnival on April 12th, which was postponed to that date because our original date, March 22nd, it was raining. However, we still had a really big turnout and we still ended up being able to sell quite a lot of goods. And again, it was a really fun event for students and the community alike. And then literally the day after was our prom at Edel Hall. We started setting up 9 o'clock, and then the event itself went really well. It was like the perfect size for our roughly 80 to 90 students, that being juniors and seniors, as well as a lot of people that were invited in because, you know, prom, you always invite people in, or your friends in and whatnot. We were able to sell the tickets at just $20 a piece, or $35 for couples, and our priority wasn't necessarily making money, but more being able to provide a really good experience. So we were able to get a chocolate fountain out there with strawberries and marshmallows. We got a bunch of different deli platters from Winco, and we're just able to provide a lot of, food stuff for all of the students. So that was really fun. Upcoming from now, the biggest thing is the spring musical. So that is, we are rehearsing right now. I literally headed here straight from that. And we are showing in the Plumas Street Theater, the Sutter Theater Center for the Arts, on April 25th, 26th, as well as May 2nd and 3rd. So that's a Thursday, Friday, just because of what happened with the venue. So I hope you guys come and see that. It is shaping up to be an amazing show. I'm really excited, and all of the students are definitely excited to show off the show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. North and South Lyndhurst High School. Now we'll move into the opportunity for employee organizations to address the board. Marysville Unified Teachers Association. Angela.
Good evening, Mr. Davis, rest of the board, everybody here this evening. My name is Angela Stiegel. I'm the president for the Marysville Unified Teachers Association. Still. My name also is still Angela Stiegel, and I'm still the president for the Teachers Union. Well, at least for another year or so. First off, like always, we would like to extend our congratulations to all of the people and students, adults, employees, organizations, our students who received the recognition and the awards at the beginning of the meeting. That still, as always, is a really nice thing to see and a really positive way to start off an evening. I will say that the Teachers Union has a number of questions or issues in regards to a handful of agenda items. So I did, in fact, submit comment cards for those, since my time here now is so limited. But one item that I would like to address or point out now is item 15.4, which is the ratification of the extension of the superintendent's contract, I believe, out to 2026. I would just like to point out to the board that I think it's kind of interesting that you're interested in extending out the contracts for superintendent or 2 or 3 people when your 500 plus teachers have been working without a contract since last June. So it's a little bit of a slap in the face and a little bit of an insult, just to kind of put that out there. I would also like to say that the bargaining team for the Teachers Union really firmly believes still, as we have said over and over again, that the board needs to hear from us. You need to hear from MUTA. We need time to actually speak with you and for you to hear from us what it is we're asking for, why we're asking for it, some of the issues and questions or struggles that we may have at the bargaining table. You need to know these things. And unfortunately, you don't, because you don't even bother to take the time to ask us. And when we try to reach out, we are met with either complete reticence or nothing. But I still would like to say that MUTA is still extending the invite out there. We are also still extending the belief that you're only hearing one side of the story. And when you're making some of the decisions you're making with only one side of the story, that's a dilemma. And it's one that we've tried to bring up and we've tried to bring to your attention over and over and over again. And here we are in the middle of a bargain yet again, in which we not only need your help, but we need your assistance, we need your support, we need your backing, we need your time and energy and effort, and your even wherewithal to hear what we have to say. And so we're still extending that out there. We still have that belief. I do know that, I will tell you that for me personally, as a member of the bargaining team and as a leader of the union, when you don't even hear what we have to say, it becomes really difficult for us to believe that you really care at all about what it is we have to say. And I'm not saying that that is the truth. That's not what I'm putting out there. I'm telling you it's the perception on our end, and that's all we're left with at the end of the day. So we still would like to have some of your time. We still would like you to be able to hear what we have to say, in particular about bargaining. I do know, like I started to mention previously, that I've been told by members of this board that you only have one employee, and that is the superintendent. I get that, and there's a comment that I could put out there that I won't for tonight. I'll leave it alone, although at least two of you up there know exactly what it would be. You may, as a board, directly only have one employee, but just in this unit alone, you've got over 500 employees for this district for which you do bear some responsibility and some connection with. And so just trying to bring that to the forefront, just hopefully maybe giving you kind of some food for thought. We would like to say that since we are finally in bargaining for this year, that we're encouraging the district that there be a swift completion of this year's bargain, especially considering it's already almost May and we are bargaining for this year, not the upcoming year. I would like for the board to understand something also, and I mentioned it last time I was up here, that there has been a lot of instances on the district's part where they are not bargaining with us on items. There are programs and initiatives and policies that are just kind of shoved through. There's no impacts and effects bargaining. There's no anything. And that in and of itself is bad faith bargaining. And so we would like for the district to understand that we're not going to be pushed around. We're not going to be ignored. And we just want you to understand that, like, we cannot possibly do that. Because just like our shirts say, like, our working conditions are our students' learning conditions. And so, as I've mentioned a number of times, we need the board to hear us. We need you to speak with us. We need you to listen to us. We need you to actually hear us. To slightly shift gears, I know on the agenda is the resolution for the Teacher Appreciation Week and Day of the Teacher. And one of the quotes that I've brought forward before repeatedly is from Diane Ravitch, which is, you don't improve education by demoralizing the people who do the work every day. And so I would hope that as that resolution comes through, that it's not just lip service. Let's all kind of take the time to realize that there has been a lot of demoralization going on, and now let's take this as the opportunity to kind of turn that around. Like I said, you've got over 500 educators in this district that are working beyond hard every day. And so another thing that I heard just actually yesterday, someone told me that, I wasn't born to just teach. I was born to educate. I was born to help students. I was born to inspire others. I was born to, change the world with our students. And a lot of us, and not just the teachers, but a lot of us have also been born to never ever give up. And that's what we try to impart upon our students as well. And so as we have Teacher Appreciation Week and Day of the Teacher, I would encourage everybody, not just you guys, but everybody, to realize that you've got a lot of people out there working really hard for our students and for our community and our school sites. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Operating Engineers, Local Union Number 3. Please state your name.
Good evening, Board of Supervisors. My name is Ose Demar, and I'm the new business rep for Local 3. And I'm happy to be here, happy to be working with you guys, with the school district and the city. I'm exploring the city, Marysville, Yuba-Sutter, Highway 70, Highway 99. So I'm happy to be here, as I said before, and I'm looking forward to working with you to make the district a better place for the students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our California Employees Associations, number 326 and 648. Association of Management and Confidential Employees. Supervisory Unit. Now we're in our presentations.
You have a supervisor. Hello, I'm Stephanie McKenzie. I'm the board representative for the Supervisors Unit.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. And I haven't presented myself until tonight, but I thought, well, it's time to come and say hello. And I want to echo what Angela Stiegel said about the awards and recognitions that we do at the beginning of the meeting. I think it's so appropriate and just wonderful to see just the amazing people and students that we have here and being recognized. So thank you for doing that. I'm just really proud and grateful to be part of this group. We're doing a good work on behalf of our community. So thank you very much for leading that. News from the Supervisors Unit. Our longtime president, Edwin Gomez, is going to be retiring this year. So we're having a changing of the guard, and Paola Sotelo is our new president for the Supervisors Unit. And that is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Isabella?
No, this is Paola Sotelo. Hi, everyone.
Please state your name.
My name is Paula Sotelo, so I'm the new president for the Supervisors Board.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Now we're at presentations. We have 10.1 teacher support programs. There's a presentation.
Okay. Hello, I'm Jennifer Campbell.
Hi, I'm Heather Baker. Hi, I'm Lori Guy, the Director of Student Data and Student Improvement, and Amy Stratton and I will be taking over the coordination of this program. We're looking forward to working with personnel and the Marysville Unified Teachers Association to make a very successful program for our new teachers into our district, welcoming them in and providing the supports needed. And a special thank you to Heather and Jennifer for all of the work they've done on this, in addition to everything else they're doing for our teachers. And say who we are.
Thank you.
Do we need to introduce ourselves? Yeah. Go ahead and say what you're doing. I mean,
Sorry.
in addition to being a teacher. But
Yeah, I'm an English teacher at McKinney Intermediate, and I'm one of the, new teacher support specialists. We work for TSEP, the induction program.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Asrani, Board of Trustees, and the MJUSD community. I am Heather Baker, teacher at Kynoch, and with me is Jennifer Campbell, teacher at McKinney. We are two of several teacher leaders who are supporting the teacher development and retention efforts in MJUSD. Today, we will share the work we have done these past 2 years on designing and implementing teacher support programs here in the Marysville Joint Unified School District. Let us start by thanking all our mentors who are teacher leaders supporting other teachers. There are several levels of support, and then the next few slides, you will see the mentors who support these programs. The residency program has 4 mentors. The induction program has 32 mentors. The teacher pathways program has 40 mentors. As you can see, nearly 100 educators are giving back to the new teachers in our district. In 2022, the district adopted the MJUSD 2022-2025 strategic plan. Gold 5 has 4 actions that clearly spell out the need to implement support and mentoring, professional growth, and an equitable staffing process.
Let's dig into the levels of support. Based on the highlights from the strategic plan, starting in the 2022-2023 school year, MJUSD developed a multi-tiered system of support for a variety of teacher needs. Each of these first 3 layers of support are funded from grants. On the screen, you will see details about the Pathways program that has been budgeted into the 25-26 school year from the Educator Effectiveness Grant. This program supports those in their first year of teaching who have not yet entered a credential program or are intern or permit eligible. This also includes long-term subs. Each of the participants in this program have a site-based mentor who can help with classroom setup, curriculum location, and other site-based issues. Each mentor receives $3,000 annually for supporting up to 5 teachers. Currently, there are 40 mentors assigned to this level of support. And excitingly, 52 out of 75 teachers returned in the 2023-24 school year who were part of this program.
Please take a few minutes to read the support highlights of the program. This program will be supported by the Education Services team. The next layer of support is the residency program with UMass Global, which is designed for those who have a bachelor's degree and who are ready to begin teaching. This partnership has allowed MJUSD to recruit new educators for our students. Each candidate is paid a salary of $40,000 in addition to having the entire cost of the program, including incidentals, covered. The timeline for candidates to complete their credential is between 12 and 16 months. After completion, candidates are required to commit to 4 years of teaching in MJUSD. Currently, there are 4 mentors assigned to this program, and each one receives a stipend of $5,000 to assist the mentee teachers. The entire program is paid from a 3-year grant totaling approximately $400,000.
Please take a few minutes to read the highlights. The residency program currently serves 9 candidates. There are 11 slots open for the 24-25 school year, and recruitment for this will be starting soon. This program will be supervised by the Education Services team. The next layer of support is the induction program for teachers in years 1 and 2 in order to clear their credential. In previous years, this was referred to as BITSA. It is funded both by Sutter County Office of Education and Marysville Joint Unified School District. MJUSD uses the Educator Effectiveness Fund to pay for this program. Each mentor receives $2,000 annually per candidate. Please take a few minutes to read the highlights of this program. The 32 mentors in this program are paired with a candidate and then assigned to a cohort. Cohorts are facilitated by Sutter County Superintendent of Schools personnel, including liaisons Heather Baker and myself.
The last group of teachers are our emerging educators. These colleagues have been in the profession for 3 to 5 years. They are already seasoned educators, but we have learned that by providing some specific supports like time for check-ins, additional opportunities to work with coaches, access to district-paid professional development, we will grow and strengthen our teaching community. Additionally, Jennifer Campbell and myself, Heather Baker, are offering monthly networking opportunities to further build community within our district. This group is also supported by the Education Services team, specifically the coaches.
Professional development is an integral part of the district's action to enhance teaching and learning. The district provides job-aligned and job-embedded workshops all year. It is exciting to see large groups of teachers collaborating around pedagogy and curriculum, as well as observing teacher leaders driving discussions around standards alignment and assessment development. We, the mentors, district coaches, and the Education Services team are honored to help guide and develop our future educators. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll let Heather finish introducing herself. Oh.
Weren't you guys on the radio recently?
We were.
I recognize the two voices.
Our voices. Thank you.
I had just a couple of questions. I was just looking fiscally on the budgets. They look like from 2022, 23, they're fairly substantial, but 2025, 26 forward, looks like they drop. Is that because of forecasting, or is there any?
I can answer that one.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the budget that we're spending for these programs is through educator effectiveness. And when we budgeted out was with the hope that our need for a great number of teachers have declined. So that was the philosophy behind it.
I just wanted to say the two ladies on the radio was great. I think that type of stuff in the community is needed even more. Thank you for your help and services. Fantastic job.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Oh,
She still needs to introduce herself.
please introduce yourself.
Okay, so yes, I'm Heather Baker. I'm a first grade teacher at Kynoch. I'm also another support specialist for new teachers here at Marysville Joint Unified School District, and I'm also a facilitator for TSIP, the induction program that we have here through Tri-County.
We have one comment card on this. Angela, you want to come up?
Good evening again. First off, I do want to make sure to thank everybody who is working so hard on teachers and teacher retention, especially Jennifer and Heather. In addition to their full-time jobs, they've taken on another full-time job, so thanks. They have done so much for this. Also, to thank somebody else who did a whole lot of work on this, who actually, got promoted and got another job. Gabe Simon did a lot of work on a lot of these grants, so just kind of put that out in the universe as well. A couple of things that the union just wanted to point out, and I believe it's some things that are going to be fixed or rectified. But if you're looking at slide 7, or when you want to look at slide 7, which is the teacher pathway program, and it mentions the compensation, support provider requirements, support provider details. One thing I would like to draw your attention to is the fact that there is no agreement between the teachers union and the school district that the $3,000 will apply to 1 to 5 mentees. There's no agreement on that. There's an agreement that we have a stipend of $3,000 for that. Also, the support provider requirements, district-based retired administrators or teachers, that's not factual either. And then also the HR selects the school-based support providers. Actually, the agreement was that it would be HR and MUTA together, and so far that's how it has been. Also, if you flip over to slide 13, which is the emerging educators, I would just like to point out to the school board that there is absolutely no agreement between the teachers union and the school district on the emerging educators part of this. It's never been presented to MUTA. We've never even been consulted on it. We've never been asked about it. So just kind of putting that out there as well. Hopefully maybe we can rectify that situation someday soon. And then on slide 14, where we had the PD costs, I would like to encourage the district or whoever it is that posts this information that when we get done, if somebody could please post the actual slide show that was up there, because the one I have shows blank for those dollar amounts. And I understand, like, we get in a hurry, we're trying to meet deadlines and stuff, so just sometime either tonight, tomorrow, if we could get that slideshow put on the link, that would be really quite helpful so that we have those numbers. But also a question, and I'm not expecting that it has to be answered right this second. The union would really like to know if the costs that were presented there are strictly just our certificated MUTA unit, because in the past we've had issues that when we get fiscal information in regards to our PD, it includes everybody. So just putting that thought out there. Thanks.
Thank you. Now we're at 10 point, oh, you can, okay, sorry.
Are we allowed to make a quick response?
Yes.
So most of it is, we just wanted to clear up just really quick, the new teacher support nights for years 3 through 5 teachers. That is not anything, that's just kind of very informal, just coming together with the new teachers to get them to meet people from other sites. So very informal and in its infancy.
Yes, we asked them, what are some of the things that you'd like to talk about? What would you like to know? And what kind of PDs would you be interested in? And just how can we help and support?
Yeah. On our own, yeah. It was Dr. Simon's kind of brainchild that we're running.
Thank you very much. We would like to see that, the presentation that you gave tonight on the website. Thank you, Brian. So we're at 10.2, presentation of Assembly Bill 329, California Healthy Youth Act. Who's presenting that?
I will be doing that tonight.
Sorry. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. Welcome. I'm just going to give you the highlights and the history behind the Healthy Kids Act, Youth Act of 2016. Assembly Bill 329 was signed into law in 2016. The law requires a comprehensive health education and HIV prevention education to be provided to students at least once in middle school and once in high school starting in grade 7. Marysville does grade 7 and grade 9. The information from the bill says information about HIV and other sexually transmitted disease infections, including transmission, FDA-approved methods to prevent HIV and STIs, and treatment. It also requires information that abstinence is not the only certain way to prevent unintended pregnancy, HIV, and other STIs, and information about the value of delaying sexual activity. The bill also requires a discussion about social views of HIV and AIDS, information about accessing resources for sexual and reproductive health care, information about pregnancy, including FDA-approved prevention methodology, pregnancy outcomes, prenatal care, and newborn safe surrender law. Also requires information about sexual orientation and gender, including harm of negative stereotypes, information about healthy relationships, and avoiding unhealthy behaviors and situations. There are 5 primary goals of Assembly Bill 329. It's to provide pupils with the knowledge and skills to protect their sexual and reproductive health from HIV and other sexually transmitted infections and from unintended pregnancies. To provide pupils with knowledge and skills, they need to develop healthy attitudes concerning adolescence growth and development, body image, gender, sexual orientation, relationships, marriage, and family. To promote understanding of sexuality and normal part of human development. To ensure pupils receive integrated, comprehensive, accurate, and unbiased sexual health and HIV prevention instruction, provide educators with clear tools and guidance to accomplish that end, and to provide pupils with the knowledge and skills necessary for healthy, positive, and safe relationships and behaviors. On December 10th, 2020, the state superintendent sent a letter to all districts, which provided some more clarity to some of the questions that were about at that time. The clarity includes that the law prohibits active consent to any part of comprehensive sexual health education or HIV prevention education. Passive, not active, parent-guardian notification is required for comprehensive sexual health education and HIV prevention education, either at the beginning of the school year or at least 14 days prior to instruction. Also requires a comprehensive sexual education and HIV prevention education are both mandated instruction and shall occur once in middle school and once in high school. The Ed Code defines comprehensive sexual education as education regarding human development and sexuality, including education on pregnancy, contraception, thank you, the STIs and HIV prevention education as instruction on the nature of HIV and acquired immune deficiency syndrome, methods of transmission, strategies to reduce the risk of HIV infection, and social and public health issues related to HIV and AIDS. Also clarified that abstinence may not be discussed in isolation. Ed Code requires that instruction and materials include information that abstinence is the only certain way to prevent HIV, other STIs, unattended pregnancy. However, it also states that instruction shall provide information about the value of delaying sexual activity while also providing medically accurate information on other methods of preventing HIV and other STIs and pregnancies. Abstinence only or sexual risk avoidance education, sex education, which offer abstinence as the only option for preventing STIs and unattended pregnancy, is not permitted in California public schools or charter schools. Instruction shall recognize that people have different sexual orientations, and when discussing or providing examples of relationships and couples, must be inclusive of same-sex relationships. It must also teach students about gender, gender expression, gender identity, and explore the harm of negative gender stereotypes. This means that schools must teach about all sexual orientations and what being a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning LGBTQ means. All instruction and materials must support and align with the purpose of the California Healthy Youth Kids Act and with each other. Instruction and materials may not be in conflict or undermine each other and the purpose of the law. For example, schools may not use materials that, in promoting abstinence, focus exclusively on the failure rates or perceived disadvantage of condoms or contraception. So let's talk about how MJUSD adopted Positive Prevention Plus. On October 19th in 2017, all parents of middle school and high school students received a letter regarding the adoption of Positive Prevention Plus. Parents were offered the opportunity to preview the curriculum. Positive Prevention Plus was adopted on November 14th, 2017. Positive Prevention Plus was selected by educators, parents, school psychologists, school nurses, and administrators. The curriculum was presented and reviewed at the District English Language Advisory Committee, or the DLAC, and the District Advisory Committee, the DAC, and made available to the public. I went online to the Healthy Youth Kids Act of the FAQs, and I brought forward FAQ number 6. You could just Google and see all of them. It says, does the law allow for abstinence-only education? And I just wanted to reiterate, it's just stated again, that abstinence may not be discussed in isolation, which is what we've already kind of reviewed tonight. The question has come up if there's a state-approved curriculum. The answer is no, there is not an approved curriculum list. However, the district must ensure that the curriculum meets all requirements of Assembly Bill 329. Positive Prevention Plus was created as a result of the California Healthy Youth Kids Act. Positive Prevention Plus is a partner with the California Department of Education and meets all requirements. When asked what the other districts around us are using, we got on the phone and made some calls. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 10 districts that we contacted are using Positive Prevention Plus. So I took the time and I went page by page of the curriculum. I started with 7th grade because that's where it starts. So I was looking for examples of abstinence. And the 7th grade curriculum is really about setting the foundation and the learning. So on page 1, there's a letter to the parent or trusted adult. Throughout all the curriculum, every lesson ends with, go home and talk to your parents, every single lesson. The overview to parents provides an overview of the curriculum and the importance of the parent or trusted adult in the conversation. On page 32 is where you're going to find in the 7th grade curriculum where abstinence is the lesson of the day. Page 53 also talks about how condoms are, that abstinence remains the best way to prevent HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Is basically the best way is to have no sexual contact. It also goes through and starts talking about assertive communication. This is where it talks about supporting students and how to say no, how to say that this is not what I want, and how to have conversations. They also go in and they talk about sample pressure lines that students may engage or have access to or may be said to them, and gives kids examples of how to remove themselves from risky situations. And it also establishes an escape plan, which helps them to devise a plan to get out of a situation that they are uncomfortable with. Then in 9th grade, the focus of the curriculum actually changes onto more about healthy relationships and behaviors, which include abstinence. Again, the curriculum starts with a letter that provides an overview of the curriculum and the importance of parents or trusted adults in the conversation. On page 22 is the Teens Bill of Rights, which discusses the importance of making a decision and the right to do so, which basically in that section, it talks about no means no, but not saying yes also means no. It goes into internet safety and talks and helps kids to be safe online. On page 60, again, it goes into condom use and also says that the best way to avoid pregnancy, HIV, STIs is to not have sexual contact. On page 64, it goes into that assertiveness and negotiation skills, which again helps kids to communicate their intention. And on page 65 and 66, it talks about pressure situations again and helps kids identify unsafe situations and to develop strategies to find an appropriate response so they can remove themselves from that situation. So overall, it's really about giving the students the strategies they need in the world in which we live in. Any questions?
Thank you, Amy. Are there any questions from the board? Dr. Jones.
Yeah, I just have really two questions. The first is because the Positive Prevention Plus curriculum was adopted in 2017, I just want to clarify, was there any revision changes between that adoption and not, and was there an opportunity for the public to review those revision changes?
There has been an update to the curriculum, but we're still using the 2016 curriculum.
So yeah, so there was an update, and then so was the public allowed to see the update?
We didn't engage in an adoption of that update.
Okay, and then the second question that I have, and I was very surprised when I reviewed the packet over the weekend that the Positive Prevention Plus is actually adopted by other schools that are in our county and nearby.
Yes.
And while you were making the phone call, were there other complaints in the neighboring districts?
We didn't ask that question. We just asked what curriculum was being used.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Steedman.
My only question remains the same. It's the same concern. So in the 9th grade curriculum, when I think sexual pressure is starting to build more, the only resource these children have that's going to stand any sort of test of time besides a loose leaflet or a piece of paper, talking to the teachers, they say when they speak about abstinence, it's one day and it's a slideshow. So if those students miss that day or miss a handout, if there is even a handout when it's just a slideshow, that day they speak about abstinence, the only hard resource they have is this book. Where in this book does it speak about abstinence?
So the instruction, the direct instruction about abstinence occurs in 7th grade. So in terms of where does it sit in that book, I could not find the direct instruction. So one of the things that we have been talking about is bringing forth that 7th grade lesson on abstinence and adding it into this curriculum at 9th grade as a reminder of what they learned in 7th grade.
Yeah, I think that would be very prudent of us, especially when sexual activity is only going to increase when they get into high school. I think we're missing the target on that.
We've had conversation around adding that 7th grade lesson as that reminder, as that review.
And does that come with something hard that they're going to keep with them to reference later if they chose, or is it just a slideshow?
Well, we would photocopy the actual lesson for the kids. That book that you have in your hands, the kids do get that book. That's theirs to keep.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah. And so we could just add that in.
Okay. When can we see that happen?
I'm going to set up a meeting before the end of the school year with the teachers that are teaching it at the high school level to have the conversation about it.
For next year?
But it'll be next year, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have 2 comment cards. Joanna?
Holy smokes, are you giving me 10 minutes today?
Not today.
It says 10 minutes. Oh. Anyway, Joanna Lasaga. So I just want you guys to understand that we are not here to be disruptive. We're regarding any issues within the school. I'm here tonight to offer some solutions. There are many items within the curriculum, Positive Prevention Plus, that we believe strongly that need not to be discussed. The solution I would offer, and I realize that you guys, this was adopted in 17. That's 7 years ago. You weren't here. Many of you weren't here. So I would offer to meet, to have a meeting, set that up, have us discuss it, and see what we can do with it. But there's also sections that I believe need to be redacted. Those sections are sections that need to be handled by parents, not by the school. And so if we can sit down, have an adult conversation, the teachers that are teaching this, some parents, and some of you guys, perhaps we could come to an agreement. I understand scrapping this whole thing would cost a lot of money, and obviously I'm not into spending unneeded money. But I just believe that that is a solution that we can join together and work together and figure out a positive solution instead of me just coming up here irritated all the time. And then I ask, have you guys all read that book? Have you read it from cover to cover? Because there's some, you should. I mean, you really should, Gary. There's some stuff in there that's very suggestive. And suggestive in the way that perhaps they don't mention it, but in one of the opening parts when it's talking about STDs and HIV, it's suggestive that they're already having sex and that we need to stop the HIV issue. Instead of, before you have sex, let's think about this. Let's think about the ramifications of what happens if you do, what happens if they're pregnant. They don't talk about that. So I suggest all of you, before you even adopt something, and obviously it's been adopted, but before you go further, it needs to be read. And you guys need to, to get involved in that aspect of it. But sterilization, what 9-year-old needs to be talking about sterilization? 10th grade, 11th grade. That should not be a conversation. Would you, any of you have that conversation with your children? I don't think so. The only conversation I've had in regards to sterilization with my children has been on their cows. That's not something you talk about, that you would go in physically for sterilization. Those things do not need, it doesn't say it in the legal aspect of it. In what needs to be covered, there's nothing in there about sterilization. That stuff, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It needs to be out of there. So I just ask that you guys take that time.
Very much. Thank you. We have one more public comment. Sorry if I mispronounce your name, Florinda? I'm sorry, dear. Please state your name.
Florentina DiGennaro. Hi, all. I come here with Joanna also wanting a solution. I'm a parent of 3 beautiful girls, 15, 8, and a 4-year-old. So we're in this in the long haul. Next generation, my grandbabies and so forth. So we're not wanting to fight. You guys, we want a solution. We're not exaggerating either. We know how crazy other cities are getting, bigger cities, and we can't deny it. We have bills passing left and right. SB 145 allows convicted pedophiles to not be registered as sex offenders. We don't want to start the grooming here in our school. We want to avoid all of that. This city is small, we're conservative. I'm a parent that is very proactive. So I have these conversations with my 15-year-olds, and I expect that to be allowed for me to parent. I do not want the schools to take my right away, which AB 1078, we lost. They want to remove parents' rights, school boards from speaking up and protecting parents. What we have to say, what's inappropriate, and that includes this health education for our children. That includes what they get allowed to be taught. We want a say. We are the parents. We don't have our children and then give them to you to just make all the choices. No, my daughter is very educated, so if she were to learn this, she'd be like, okay, my mom taught me better. That's how proactive I am with my daughter. Not everyone, household and mother has the time. There's a lot of single mothers. This is for all kids. We need to come together. We need superintendent. You are in charge of these children. School boards, you are in charge of these. God is watching us and what the choices that we are making for these children. Exposing them to too much sexual information is not okay. There is research done already where it shows that that is a form of grooming children, giving them exposure to what they don't need. Their mental capacity is not ready to be taught. They are going to take it in a different form, and that's why we're seeing a lot of the things that we're seeing in California. And a lot of these bills are protecting that, are protecting these people who want to harm our kids. We really need to think. We don't.
Thank you very much. Now we're at 10.3, presentation to highlight student programs and services for college and career success. I don't know which one.
Superintendent Asrani, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and members of the audience, thank you for the invitation to come and share about the College and Career Department this evening. I'm Jamie Larson, Director of the department. Tonight, we have a dual presentation. We just have too much good stuff to put into one presentation. And since we are college and careers, we are going to do a brief presentation on each one. Before we get started, I would like to introduce you to the team that works so hard in college and careers.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paula Sotelo. I serve as the College and Career Specialist.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Becca Roloffs. I'm the Work-Based Learning Specialist.
Thank you.
And Elizabeth Preston didn't come up to introduce herself, but I think we absolutely need to call out and say a big happy birthday. It's impressive that she chose to come here on her birthday evening. So our presentations are pretty good tonight, but I will warn you, we are still learning how to be videographers. We now know that when we're out in the field with our iPhones talking to our teachers and our students and community members that we need a microphone. So technology, Russell, is going to help us try to balance this all out. But thank you. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. We also want to quickly, before we move into the two presentations, recognize Sandra Munoz, who is here, an avid teacher from Lyndhurst, and Jackie Silman, also who is part of the presentation as one of our industry representatives on our business advisory committee. So thank you.
Through career technical education, students learn hands-on technical skills while gaining employable soft skills, bringing them closer to their futures in high-demand, high-wage careers. These courses prepare students with industry-recognized certifications and connections to professionals. In the upcoming slides, you will hear from CTE students and teachers as you see the variety of CTE pathways offered on our high school campuses. Lyndhurst High School offers CTE courses that span 7 industry sectors and include 10 different pathways. Marysville High School offers CTE courses that span 6 industry sectors and include 14 different pathways. Tri-County ROP continues to be a strong educational partner that co-supports multiple pathways in our district.
We're giving them the knowledge, we're equipping them with skills, we're giving them hands-on experiential learning opportunities to make sure that they've got those skills to be successful in their post-secondary endeavors, whether that's going to a college degree program or going straight out into the industry or even going to a trade school as well. One thing that we really want students to engage in is that soft skills piece. Yeah, you could have all of the knowledge and skills in the world, but you have to have those soft skills that are so essential to being successful post-high school.
I love this class so much. Getting to have hands-on experience and learning everything to make me a good nurse. Miss Gina hasn't only taught me about the academics of becoming a nurse, but the personality traits you need to make a good nurse, which would be compassion. I use compassion every day, not only in clinicals, but while I'm at home, at work, or school. My favorite rotation that I've been on so far was labor and delivery. I got to watch a C-section and watch the ending of a vaginal birth, which involved taking the mother's vitals and learning how to chart. While I was on this floor, I got to go into the NICU and watch a baby get an echo.
The CTE classes, they have really showed me a lot. It showed me it showed me that I really wanted to do something like this in the future, and it opened a lot of opportunities for me doing the internship and going to Fox 40. The internship especially, because after the internship, I'm actually still at the radio station, and that's actually really cool because currently I'm doing a show for Fox 40, which is really cool. But it's also it's built my resume, and it showed me that I want to take this beyond school. I want to take this seriously, and I genuinely want to make this a profession.
CTE has prepared me for my future because I'm definitely looking into going into the agriculture industry. It's introduced me to so many different career paths, and I've also got a lot of hands-on experience. So when I apply for jobs or colleges or trade schools, I'm going to be able to put on my applications that I have experience, and that is going to make me a better applicant.
Total CTE enrollment has been on a steady rise, increasing by about 23% this year. 60% of Lyndhurst and Marysville students are currently enrolled in a CTE course. The district has been focusing on increasing CTE completers by ensuring students are enrolling in a full pathway versus a single CTE course. Last year, we celebrated a 60% increase in CTE pathway completion. CTE students earn industry-recognized certifications through their coursework. These certifications indicate that students have gained important employability skills. Industry certifications are recognized by business and industry at the local, state, or national level. CTE curriculum also helps prepare students for X-ray license, infection control, personal care attendant, phlebotomy, EKG, and advanced welding certifications. Multiple CTE pathways participate in community-based learning, where students are placed in local businesses to shadow professionals. Early childhood education, medical occupations, and sports medicine classes rotate through industry placements. The Shine Bright Dental Clinic on the Marysville High School campus works with Peachtree Dental to treat student patients in their dental lab.
We place students at Kynoch Preschool, Kynoch Elementary, Covalot Preschool, Covalot Elementary, Fusion School. We also do our Boga Preschool, Olivehurst Preschool. We have many schools that we're working with right now. We also, after they do their internship at these schools, we actually have hired them in our preschool after they've received their college credit and they're at least 18 years of age.
92% of our CTE courses are college prep and A through G approved, meeting entrance requirements for the University of California. In addition, 5 CTE courses are articulated with Yuba and Butte colleges, and an additional 3 courses have been submitted for consideration. College and career connections are an essential component of CTE. This year, students have visited Hard Rock Cafe, Shoei Foods USA, Fox 40 television station, local Union 228 training center, Alcatraz, and Powerhouse Farms, to name a few. In addition to FFA college trips, medical occupations, multimedia, and business management classes have toured Chico State, UC Davis, Berkeley, and Yuba College.
With our ag department, we spend nearly every weekend traveling to different colleges. We are on 7 different college campuses, and that includes CSU Chico, UC Davis, Cal Poly, and then a million other little JCs.
Industry input is critical to our CTE programs. The District Advisory Committee, along with individual pathway advisory committees, help us evaluate and improve our CTE courses to ensure students graduate with practical skills that are immediately applicable in their chosen fields. Many of our district committee members have served for more than 10 years, showing their commitment to CTE and the workforce development it brings to business.
Career technical education. What does it mean? Workforce development. Yuba County has seen, obviously, disadvantaged community for a long time, but we are on the rise, which is pretty exciting. So we need to build a workforce that will succeed. Career technical education is exactly what we needed here, and it is now on the upswing.
Thank you. Do you have a second part?
We do.
The vision of the Marysville Joint Unified School District is to prepare students for college and career success. It is a key area of focus on the strategic plan. The College and Career Indicator represents the percentage of high school graduates who are prepared for college or a career. As you can see here, there are many ways in which students can achieve the prepared level. We already saw a glimpse of our CTE programs, and now we will take a look at a few of the other indicators and how we are preparing our students for success. The district is invested in creating more honors classes. Middle schools throughout the district began offering honors math classes in 22-23. This year, ELA, science, and history honors classes were added, equating to a greater than 500% increase. High school honors enrollment is also up by 69%. One of the concerns expressed was that dual enrollment would impact honor and AP enrollment, but the data shows this is not the case. Advanced placement courses and student participation is also growing. On the left, you will see AP enrollment numbers. The right-hand chart shows the number of students who took an AP test and scored a 3 or higher, which is what is counted on the College and Career Indicator of the dashboard. Dual enrollment permits students to earn college credit while still in high school, allowing students to get a head start on their higher education goals. There are many ways students can earn dual credits. Students can enroll in after-school college courses on our high school campuses. Students can independently enroll in Yuba College courses or participate in the district's early college program or middle college academy. The Middle College Academy is a progressive partnership with Yuba College that launched this year. The school is located on the Yuba College campus. By the end of high school, students will have earned a high school diploma and completed 2 years of college, focusing on their discipline of choice. The early college program is another avenue for students who wish to remain in a comprehensive high school and tackle a college degree at the same time. Students begin their day at Yuba College and then transition back to their high school. Those who successfully complete all 4 years of the early college program will earn an associate's degree along with their high school diploma. We are going to conclude this evening with a quick look at the AVID program that will impact all of the components of the College and Career Index. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination and prepares students for admission to four-year colleges and universities. Students are taught study skills, note-taking, time management, writing and research skills while being immersed in a college-going culture. Additionally, AVID provides access to information about colleges and universities through field trips, guest speakers, scholarship opportunities, and college admission requirements.
I think AVID is just a great support for wanting to go to college. It gave me the chance to go out instead of having to pay out of my pocket. It's nice that I got support to do that. And honestly, I might, because we recently went to a field trip to UC Davis. I'm considering Davis now, getting the opportunity to see how it was. I might go there now. AVID was it's a great experience. I love it so much. I don't know how I could have gone my freshman year without AVID. And so I think AVID has impacted me a lot. I don't think I would be where I am today in school with my straight A's without AVID.
AVID was implemented in the 22-23 academic year and was offered as an elective period at McKinney, Yuba Gardens, Lyndhurst, and Marysville High School with an enrollment of 161 students. Now it is in its second year, and AVID enrollment continues to increase and has expanded to our bogus secondary with a total enrollment of 282 students. AVID strategies are also taught at Foothill Intermediate, where they are taking a school-wide approach instead of offering it as an elective period.
For me, AVID means connections, 100%. This class would not be the class that it is without relationships. I get to step outside of my content and I get to form these relationships with these kids and help them step closer towards their end goal, whether that's a university, whether that's a career. I get to know them and make an impact on them.
Being part of the AVID family is a great opportunity and a very unique experience for students as they're able to work together and be able to bond with others who are also very passionate about being successful after high school. Students are able to do this in the classroom by looking into tutorial groups, Socratic seminars, different note-taking forums. Students are able to collaborate and be able to take those skills with them after high school to help them be successful in college as well. Students are also able to hear from guest speakers who are currently in the field they want to pursue and be able to ask them questions. Outside of the classroom, students are able to visit colleges and be able to set foot on campus. Sometimes this could be the first time for many students and be able to hear from different speakers and be able to get to feel what it's like to be in the campus themselves. Students are able to see their dream colleges, be able to have that experience of what it would be like to be a college student.
The district has heavily invested in Avid professional development to support fidelity in implementation. Educators learn turnkey techniques and classroom activities that teachers can easily incorporate in their classrooms. In addition to the Avid Summer Institute, the district has offered training through the Sacramento County Office of Education, online after school, on Saturdays, and in-person full-day sessions at SCOE. Avid strategies will also be offered during the June PD. Next year, Edgewater and Arboga will pilot Avid Elementary. By teaching and reinforcing academic behaviors and higher level thinking at a young age, Avid Elementary teachers create a ripple effect in later grades. Various grants extend college and career readiness work, creating additional avenues for students to achieve their educational goals. More than $2.2 million in grant funding is managed through the College and Career Department. The grant total is a combination of single and multi-year grants spanning the 23-24 school year. Thank you for the pleasure of your time this evening.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board? The one question I have for you, Jamie, is looking at your Avid enrollment. It's quite stunning looking at what happened at McKinney and what didn't happen at Yuba Gardens. Do we have any kind of idea why that discrepancy?
I don't know exactly why the discrepancy at McKinney. They really, as a school, have rallied around Avid and Avid strategies. When you have those teachers that are just super passionate about Avid, and we may see numbers really start to increase at Yuba Gardens as well, but McKinney certainly was the largest increase in enrollment.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was similarly my question as well on the enrollment between middle school but I noticed the high school, the sudden drop off. So is there a transition piece that needs to be tweaked or something? Now that Arboga is going to be coming into it, now we need another transition.
To be honest, the high schools are always going to be an issue. When you hit that sophomore year, their schedules are just so impacted with courses that they have to take for graduation. They don't have an opportunity to take elective courses in that sophomore year. And so even though freshman enrollment is definitely going up, that sophomore year, unless we can find creative solutions like maybe some zero periods, I don't know, the high schools are really getting together and looking at all sorts of options to try to create more room. And then if there wasn't that bottleneck in the sophomore year, I think we would see huge numbers there as well.
Dr. Cheng.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you brought it up, I'm going to reiterate and highlight what you pointed out, because that's what I interpreted it from the drop, because the drop into high school, because you can, when I looked at both the CTE and the college, right, both of these pathways are very specific, and they have to also fit in graduation requirements. And so the challenge that I see, and somebody who would have taken the college path, something that I saw in CTE that I wish I would have been able to do in high school, in CTE, there's AWS welding certification. And so that course I would have never been able to take because I don't have the excess capacity to take additional classes. And so I think one of the challenge that we should look into is how do we provide additional information, additional opportunities for kids to not just be stuck on a certain path. Because when you're in 8th grade, I can tell you, in 8th grade, I was very determined to have a singular career. And I am not in that career that I said I was going to be in when I was in 8th grade. And so I think I would have, it would have helped me to take some of the CTE courses. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I see out of this whole set of presentation.
Agreed.
So we have one comment card. Angela?
So I kind of feel like with 2 parts of a presentation, I should get 6 minutes, but I'm not going to do it. So first thing is a quick item on the part 1, which was the CTE part. Towards the very end of that, there's a very lengthy list of people from the CTE District Advisory Committee. And what I think is interesting is there's not a single MJUSD teacher on that, not a one. So that's just a little thought nugget, food for thought. Also, with the second part, which had more to do with kind of the college and career end of it, some of the dilemma I think I have is with some of the data and how some of the data is described. I understand that it is, quite exciting that for honors courses, in the middle school, we go from 0 kids to 108 kids in honors. Well, that's going to happen when it's the first year that you implement a program. So that's also, as far as AP, I would beg to differ, and I'm not going to use the last of my minute and a half here to tell you that AP programs have been impacted. One thing that I think is really quite evident, though, is the fact that at Lyndhurst High School, they had some AP teachers out there that really made a difference and presented to some students and told them some information, so made some change in students' minds there as far as sticking with AP as opposed to doing other things. Also, within the conversation about AVID, I will tell you as somebody who works at Marysville High School, I really, really wish that we would take a serious look at eliminating freshman seminar and focusing strictly on AVID so that we have more resources for AVID for our freshman students. That does not fix the issue at the sophomore year, but freshman seminar has seen its time, it has seen its day, and AVID is a much more beneficial program for our freshmen than freshman seminar ever thought of being. So let's focus here. And so speaking of which, please don't get me started on the Get Focused, Stay Focused curriculum. Also, though, as far as the 10th grade for AVID, there are some ways that we could look into making some changes there and providing some opportunities for our students. And the union has already made it plainly clear that we're willing to work with the district on that, work with our school sites to try to make some of that happen. Not in some of the ways that they want to forcibly try to put through without any bargaining, but in some other ways. Also, as far as the Yuba College dual enrollment, the early college program, and the middle college academy, I would just remind the board that none of those items, none of those programs have an agreement with the teachers union, one of which has already resulted in an unfair labor practice charge, and at least 1 or 2 others are about to. So thank you.
Thank you.
For clarification, just on that one comment made on the list of advisory committee, you will not find teachers on there because that's not the purpose of teachers to be on that. It is one of the 11 elements, which is all business people, which helps advise and direct and navigate and move industry forward because that's what drives the curriculum.
Actually, I would disagree that what actually drives a curriculum would be teachers. But
you know
also
what? I sat on the state board,
say,
Angela, and
what
that's
I will also
that's
say
BS.
is that it's different than what was on your recognitions is also what I'm saying. So maybe we could get the 2 things to agree.
That won't happen.
Okay, I do want to just say CTE teachers are very actively involved in our district advisory committee. They weren't on those slides simply because we were just focusing on industry, but we have CTE teachers, principals participate, counselors participate from both of the schools as well. So we know that teachers really are the lifeblood of our CTE programs, and they are present at every single one of our meetings.
Thank you very much. We have one more presentation, 10.4, Special Education Program Presentation for the 2023-24 school year. Siobhan?
Good evening, everyone. Siobhan Matthews, Director of Special Education. I'm going to let my teammates and coordinators introduce themselves, but we have an update on some of our special education numbers for this year, and then a few celebrations and information about program transfer.
Please introduce yourself.
Hello there, I'm Lauren Huser, coordinator who primarily serves our elementary aged students.
Hi, my name is Amy Eggleston. I'm one of the coordinators that primarily works with middle and high school.
Good evening, I'm Kelly Williamson. I'm a special education coordinator and I work with primarily preschool. So I am new to Marysville this year.
Well, thank you.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Israni, cabinet members, and community. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening on behalf of the MJUSD Special Education Department. Here this evening is Siobhan Matthews, Director of Special Education, Secondary and Non-Public School Special Education Coordinator Amy Eggleston, Elementary Coordinator Lauren Huser, and our Preschool Assessment Team and Speech Department Coordinator Kelly Williamson. In July of 2023, our team revisited our special education plan and vision of what we wanted to accomplish. Our overarching goal was to continue to improve teaching and learning through communication, collaboration, and professional development. We work to improve and establish policies and procedures for our teams that support the delivery of high-quality service to our students with special needs. Our top 3 ongoing goal areas are collaboration and communication, improving our policies and procedures to increase compliance, and to provide meaningful professional development opportunities to our special education professionals. Who do we serve? We serve all students with an identified disability. Our TK to grade 12 student population includes 10,365 students enrolled in MJUSD. Of this number, there are 1,503 identified students with a disability. The top 3 areas of disability categories are speech language impaired, specific learning disability, and other health impaired. The remainder is made of a variety of other identified disabilities. In total, 14.5% of our student population is identified as having a disability. This is slightly higher than the state average of 13.57%. This slide is a representation of all service providers and teams of people who support our students with IEPs. As you can see, we have many highly trained specialists that provide many and important services. As needed, we contract for some services that we cannot fulfill with our own personnel. One service that we contract with Yuba County Office of Education for is orientation mobility and services for the visually impaired. As our district enrollment has increased and we've received new students through our transfer of programs, you will see an increase in the number of support providers needed. We will talk about trends over the past few years in comparison to this year for our TK through 12th grade programs. This chart indicates the number of special education students enrolled in our programs over the past several years. We see an increase in enrollment of 60 students in special education this year. This data shows the identification of students and at what grade level they were identified with a disability. As you can see, the highest number of students identified are represented in red. This data is particularly interesting to note. The blue section indicates students transferring into our district with an IEP, which is larger than students we identify as having a learning disability within the district. Overall, our referrals decreased this year from the previous years, as well as the number of students that transferred into the district. Next, we have the number of students graduating from special education after an assessment and found to no longer qualify for special education services in any disability category. This data does not include students who graduated from high school or transferred out of our district. Next, we have the number of students graduating speech and no longer qualifying for speech language services. We have a few celebrations to share with you that show some of our work in action. Supporting Inclusive Practices is one of the organizations that we are partnered with to support best practices in special education. This is one example of high-quality professional development we have access to through our partnerships. We host monthly meetings on topics related to special education. These are called Hot Topic Thursdays and focus on a variety of topics related to special education, both in person and online. Our special education teams are collaborating together, including our ED classrooms, which began vertical collaboration this year. This year, we transferred our preschool students from Yuba County Office of Education to our district. It has been a year of learning and growing as we work to serve our youngest learners with disabilities. Here is a representation of the students we serve in the preschool special education program. 158 preschool-age students receive special education services, and we have received 120 referrals for assessment this year. Our special education preschool team receives referrals from several agencies in our area. The referrals are screened and processed to determine whether further assessment is warranted. As you noticed in the previous slide, we have received 120 referrals this year to date. Our assessment and transition teams are made up of several professionals depending on the needs of the student. As you can see, we have a full multidisciplinary team who conduct a thorough assessment of each child. One part of the preschool program transfer is the opportunity to create inclusive classrooms with our state preschool program and MJUSD. This opportunity was assisted with a 4-grant award from Inclusive Early Education Expansion Dollars. Here are some of our little ones in the inclusive setting. Here is some of our dedicated special education preschool staff. This year, we identified action areas from surveys from our special education team and compliance intensive monitoring process with the California Department of Education. Progress in these areas are helping us move out of the intensive monitoring level to the targeted monitoring 3 level. These are some of the professional development activities that we have supported and provided or have attended. To increase our rates of IEP compliance to meet state requirements, we have engaged in the following supportive services to help our case managers and teams. MJUSD is in the process of 2 program transfers. The first is for school-aged moderate to severe special day classrooms currently served by the Yuba County Office of Education beginning July 1st, 2024. The second is the moderate to severe special day classes for school-aged children, initiated by Yuba County Office of Education in March of 2023. The program will transfer to MJUSD in July of 2025 for grades kindergarten through 5th. On behalf of the entire Special Education Department, we appreciate the opportunity to present to you this evening and extend the invitation to visit any of our programs.
Are there any questions from the board?
Yeah, I have. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Frank.
I was just wondering the number of SDC students at the high school campuses, both campuses. You got a number?
So at the high school?
I just remember them being large. And
so remember, they're kind of changing the terminology, but if a student is receiving basically at the high school 3 or more periods, they might be considered special day class. However, they rotate through, right? And so I can pull that number for you, Frank.
I remember from 40 years ago. That's all. How many graduate approximately?
Oh, of our special ed students graduating from high school?
Yeah.
Again, I will find that number for you.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Could we go back to the slide regarding the preschoolers? And my apologies for not having looked at this more carefully beforehand.
That's okay.
How many students specifically do we have in the special ed preschool program already?
We are running about 66.
And how many total students are in our preschool program?
So preschool is a little bit different. About 100, how many of our preschool speech appointments? So we have some students coming in for speech and language services only by appointment that are between 3 and 5, and I think we have almost 140 of those little guys. And then we have 66 students in our special day class that have those inclusive opportunities. And if you remember, each of our special day class, they're set aside next to the state preschool classrooms to maximize inclusive opportunities. And that's kind of what you saw with Jolie's, with the program. And we're also working with SIP. It's the same agency that did the award. So and then we have some students who are enrolled in Jolie's program that receive some services, a little bit of pull-out services for specialized academic instruction or speech and language. So there's just a mix of how these little guys are served. It's very individualized.
How many students total, not just special ed, but total in our preschool program?
Oh, yeah, hang on.
I'm just wondering about percentages. And I'm really glad we have speech and language at that level.
It's difficult to develop an actual percentage because there are private preschools, there are outside preschools that we don't have like the group of all of Yuba County that we serve through our preschool or all of our MJUSD kiddos. So we did try to develop a percentage, but we'll have to check with Jolie on what her state preschool numbers are, but that's just a chunk. That doesn't incorporate everyone who lives within MJUSD boundaries.
With the average for Marysville, it looks like it's 15%. Mm-hmm. So that I'm wondering, well, are we seeing an increase if we're looking at the preschool age? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
It does, Allison. So remember, if we go back to the slide of the referring agencies, it's pediatricians, it's Head Start, it's First Five, it's parents, the preschool programs, family, Alta Regional is another one. So we get multiple referrals out of different agencies, and not all of them. Like I said, a lot of our preschoolers get appointment-based speech and language. They may be educated at home. They may not be attending. So that's when we try to capture what's our percentage of students in special ed and preschool. It's just very hard to capture that percentage. Out of all the preschoolers who live in our district, we don't know where they all are.
Ms. Hasey, I just got the information from Jolie. I think there's about 378 preschool students enrolled in the district.
Okay.
Dr. Asrani?
We had a question about graduation rate. I was wondering if you could clarify about the impact on the district's graduation rate because of NPSs and students not in different programs that still count against our graduation rate. Maybe Amy Stratton would like to respond to that. The graduation rate question that we received. How about how the impact of NPS and students not in our district impact our graduation rates?
Oh, yes, okay. So starting in 22, I believe was the year, all of the students that were Marysville Joint Unified School District is responsible for educating. Their scores, their graduation scores, their state test scores, suspension rate, chronic absenteeism, all of that is added to our state accountability system. And so all of our students that are in non-public schools or at the county programs that don't graduate impact our graduation rate. So I can tell you last year, I looked at the reports, I did all the analysis. We had 15 students added as non-graduates to our district last year, which is actually what caused our graduation rate as a district to go down.
Mr. Stephen?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the total cost. Do these costs include transportation costs? Because I know a lot of the IEPs require specific transportation needs.
No, we transport any student that lives within our attendance area. We transport even our most impacted students. We take down to Virginia School. So those are not included.
Okay. Do you happen to have the numbers?
I can get them for you. I'll work with Greg.
Dr. Yang.
I want to piggyback on Trustee Hasey's question. The answer to the preschool number was 387. So I went back, and if you 378, whatever the number is. But if you go to the slide that says identification by grade level, Is it normal to have a massive drop-off in preschool, or are we expecting to have this big buildup of SDC kids? So on the slide, if you go to identification by grade level, there's the it shows exactly the distribution of the number of students that we have.
Sure.
So kindergarten is only 107. So we're about 3.2 or 3.3 times the number of kindergarten preschool against kindergarten. So once Jay shared that number, I'm just like astonished. Do we normally have a massive drop off going into kindergarten, or are we expecting that there's going to be this large wave of SDC kids in the future?
The 378 was the total enrolled in the preschool program, not special education.
State preschool.
Oh, okay.
State preschool.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I will comment on your question, though. I do want to reiterate, we have 66 kiddos in our mod severe SDC preschool right now. So whether they go to general ed, whether they go to general ed with some support, whether they go to Virginia school, whether they go, they may go different places. But I will say, just as a reminder, that remember, these little 3-year-olds were born in COVID. So some of them, the identification has come later. So we do have a bubble. If you looked at our slide on referrals, 120 referrals for either screening and assessment is keeping us busy.
Got it. Yeah, then I withdraw the question because I misunderstood where
That's okay.
It's the base number. That 378 is the base number, not the top line number. Because it was scary for me to hear that. I was like, whoa, there's a wave.
Yeah.
And there's no wave. Okay.
No, it looks to me like we're at 15% for the K-12, but we're about 25% just in preschool.
So remember, we can't, if you would calculate it that way, but remember, we're not capturing all of the preschoolers who live within our attendance area. We're not capturing that whole number.
Looking at the ones that we are immediately responsible for because they are in our buildings with our staff.
Right.
And the potential for helping, that's what it's like, oh, this is a really big thing right now.
And we all know that remediation and support, the earlier it comes, the opportunity is there for a lot of progress. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. We have one last presentation from Building and Grounds. Doug?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for the opportunity to present the update for the Facilities Master Plan. I want to apologize in advance for my recording voice. Hopefully you're all still awake so you can ask me any questions afterwards.
Before we begin, we had a little slight detail that was pointed out to us. Thank you to Angela Stiegel. On slide 6, there's a table 5.1 that has a cost summary. The totals are correct, but the details above it are missing some information, but we did verify the total number is correct. So I just want to point that out because you might notice that.
Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Ozrani, Board of Educations, and the MJUSD community. I'm Doug Trower, Director of Buildings and Grounds, and today I will share with you an update of the Facilities Master Plan and progress made with facilities improvements. The FMP is divided into 3 sections, and today I will cover sections 1 and 2. At a later date, we will return to talk about the bigger discussions around space and increased enrollment. The FMP was created and completed in 2022 by PBK, and the goal of the FMP is to evaluate the condition of its sites and their components. The areas of focus are classrooms, support common areas, electrical and mechanical equipment, as well as hardscape playgrounds and safety fencing. The FMP enables the district to estimate pupil population, make objective appraisals on school facilities, coordinate a program of total school and community planning, and maintain a program and financing of school facilities. The facilities master plan consists of 305 projects throughout our entire district. These are broken out into 3 categories and are given a priority level. There's new construction projects, modernization projects, and repair of existing buildings. Priority 1 had 126 projects, 23 of which are completed. Priority 2 had 134 projects, with 15 being completed. And Priority 3 had 45 projects, with 7 being completed. For September of 2022, we completed over 2,854 work orders and contracted out over 83 jobs. Some of these projects have been covered during our big construction projects, as well as our routine and deferred maintenance projects. Here in this graph is every school with their priority levels 1 through 3, stretched over a 10-year period. And as you can see from the dollar amount, this is an unreal expectation of work and the money the district would need to complete these actions. Understand that the district does not receive any facilities funds from the state, but has to set aside funds for deferred maintenance, which is a limited amount. This is why it is important for the Buildings and Grounds Department to continuously maintain and improve facilities, as costly repairs are then avoided. Here we have the priority index. It is a rating of 1 through 4, with 1 being the worst and 4 being in good repair. Each school was gone through by architects, engineers, and consultants, and this metric is used to grade all aspects of our facilities. This chart shows each site with their identified actions on the priority index. There are 17 sections in total, ranging from roofs to interiors to fire life safety. This chart and areas are used to prioritize the routine maintenance and deferred maintenance funds to improve the conditions of our site. The work we do throughout the year directly reflects this chart. The work order system covers all aspects of our school district, from the buildings to the grounds. This is the basis of our day-to-day work, and our mission is to maintain a clean, safe, and functional environment. There are a lot of repairs in our day-to-day work that go together with the FMP, some of which I have listed here. Again, we have also contracted out over 83 jobs, and the contracted jobs are assigned when the work exceeds the district's capacity for manpower or is considered an emergency. These jobs mimic jobs and projects we can do in-house, only on a larger scale, and the contracted jobs generally require more equipment or manpower than we can provide. Here we have some pictures of some carpet and flooring that were done over the year. Cove Lodge Preschool is the first picture. Lomarica office is the second picture, and Lyndhurst Counseling Office is the third picture. Asphalt repair, this is from LHS, but we also did some repairs at Johnson Park and Yuba Gardens. Some bathroom repairs that were done, new flooring, new partitions, and new bathroom fixtures. These are MHS restroom and Cedar Lane restrooms. Here we have a couple examples of portables that were repaired. We replaced the siding as well as repainted. This is an example of doors that have been replaced. This example is from Marysville High School gym, and these doors were replaced after the gym floor had been completed. This here is Lomarica, and we addressed many issues starting with the classroom building. We installed new AC units and replaced the roof, added security fencing to eliminate access to the classroom from the parking lot, and all 4 classrooms were painted and new tag board was installed. The carpet was replaced as well as the flooring throughout the building, and 1 portable received a new roof, and we finished by painting the entire school. The scope of work snapshot from the FMP that is seen here depicts the cost of modernization of rooms 2 through 5 at Lomarica. However, due to the need to keep space occupied and functional while also keeping in mind funding sources, the Building and Grounds funds were the most productive choice that allowed for the necessary structural upgrades as well as upgraded interior finishes while staying within budget limitations. By utilizing the buildings and grounds scope and funding for projects such as roofing, carpet, fencing, new siding, and paint and labor, the district spent approximately $263,000. The next few slides, we will detail out the major projects you see on this page and the costs associated with them. 5 projects in all, $67 million. Here we have the Arboga expansion project. The F&P did not address this as a priority. However, this is a great example of how changing enrollment and overcrowding made this project a priority. Here we have a rendering of Foothill modernization. This is another great example of using district funds to make necessary upgrades at a site. Although there are still many needs to address at this school, the school has been totally gutted and rebuilt inside to provide proper classroom space, safe exit routes, and modernized restrooms. The original master plan snapshot for Arboga is seen here, and the original estimation needed to adapt to the needs of the site as it shifted from an elementary-based site to a site that served K through 8. There were similarities linked between the original master plan vision and the final work completed at Arboga. However, the site ultimately required more than that was listed in the master plan, requiring us to add additional classrooms as well as kitchen and multi-purpose room to accommodate the increased enrollment of the school. In addition to enhancing facilities, we ensured the middle school portion could engage in after-school athletics, which is something that cannot be provided to the 6th graders on other elementary sites. Here is the estimated total for Foothill School. As you can see from the scope, the estimated total to reconfigure the main building was over $20 million. We were able to be creative with the money that we had with the help of the school district, Van Pelt, and architects, and we're able to do this within $15 million budget that was allocated. Here we have the Covalod 2-story classroom. By relocating the classrooms to the field adjacent to the portables, this allowed us to complete construction while still maintaining school functions. Moving the classrooms gave us the ability to improve the north side of the campus, as well as the flexibility to make improvements to the south side of the campus in the future. We look forward to opening this part of the school in December. Here, we have 2 track projects for MHS and LHS. Although both projects are majority track, the needs at both sites are extremely different. LHS needed a new track but already had upgraded lighting. However, they needed new bleachers and a press box. We also used this opportunity to relocate the visitor bleachers to the varsity and JV baseball fields. MHS needed a new track and lighting, also a restroom complex. We also had to do a complete redesign as the current location of the track would not accommodate the new dimensions of an 8-lane track. Here's a photo of the relocated bleachers from the football field to the baseball field. We also have projects that are required to improve teaching and learning, but not listed on the FMP. These projects are considered a priority by the district and the facilities department. And they're listed here. And as you can see from this, we have identified projects that were not listed as a priority on the FMP, but through further discussion with site and district officials, they were determined to be issues that needed to be addressed to promote teaching and learning. The goal over the next 5 years is to use our deferred maintenance budget to continue to make improvements to our buildings, playgrounds, and security. This is a list of potential projects that I have. Here are projects listed as major priorities within the Buildings and Grounds Department with the existing conditions at our site. These projects would be funded through restricted routine maintenance and deferred maintenance funds. Since we will be facing financial reductions from the state, we will have less money to put towards these projects, so we will have to start by completing projects by safety first, then building repair, energy efficiency, and then most needed. In summary, with increased enrollment, lack of funding by the state, and unfortunately due to the bond not passing, we are looking at all available funding to add portables to overcrowded sites. We will continue to be strategic in finding funds to improve the overall condition of our sites. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board? The one question I have for you, Doug, is are you going to bring your approved list for the summer projects to us?
So far this year, what we've decided to do with the funding is work on eliminating our open work orders. So our maintenance department plans on tackling our open work order list so we can get down and start the year with the zero list. We do have some roofs that we're going to address, and I can get some of those smaller projects to you guys soon.
So most of what you're going to be doing this summer is just fulfilling your work orders and any other backlog.
Correct.
So that no really big new projects other than what we got going on.
Other than the real big projects we're currently working on right now, yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Well, thank you and your crews and your contractors for all the hard work you guys are doing. The tour we had up there at Foothill now almost a month ago was absolutely mind-blowing. I'm waiting for my tour of Covalon. Covalon looks great. It's unbelievable how fast that's gone up. They had the windows in, they had the doors in. Just needing some landscaping, looks, from the street, but it looks really good. And I know that's been a big project for the district.
Yeah, it's getting close. All those projects are really looking good, and they're going to start doing the asphalt on the track, I think somewhere around the 19th. So that's going to be really cool. I've been doing some aerial photos, so once those are done, we'll get those up on the website for everybody to see. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we have department updates, administrative services. Brian?
So this will be, as long as it all goes according to plan, this will be the last time that these old screens that you see here will be up. Then we finally got word just this morning that the final piece of the new projector and screen system has shipped. And so we will have that installed hopefully by the next board meeting. So that's long overdue. So it'll make it much easier for the audience to see what we're all showing up on the screen. So.
Thank you. Any questions for Doug or Brian? I'm really off. Business services, help me.
No, I have no updates tonight.
No
Thank
updates from business services. Thank you, Jennifer. Education services, Jay.
A monthly reminder again about all the wonderful professional development that our teachers are attending to improve their craft. I think this is our third largest month of the year. Over 45 different sessions that were attended by our teachers, and just kudos to them.
Thank you. Any questions for Jay? Personnel services. Jessica?
It's this evening.
Thank you. Dr. Asrani.
Well, the best part of my job is I get to visit classrooms. And it is just astounding the amount of work that has been happening. And with the state testing starting this week, I'm really, really hopeful that our kids will just really be able to demonstrate what they've learned. It's been tremendous watching the progress that has been made. And a big shout out to our teachers and our support staff and district administration and site administration for all that they do, because it takes a team to build this village. And I think we have a great team doing the best they can every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Asrani? Now we're at 12.1, approve the March 12th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Gary Criddle, second by Dr. Yang. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes. Now we have 12.2, approval of the March 14th, 2024 special board meeting minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Frank Crawford. Is there a second? Allison Hasty seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We have one abstention. Yes. So that was approved 6-1 with the one being an abstention. Now we're at 12.3, approval of the March 21st, if I can get it out of my mouth, 2024 special board meeting minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Is there a motion? Motion approved by Frank Crawford. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Steeman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. Now we're at the approval of consent items. Are there any items that the board would like to pull for further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to pull 15.1, please, for discussion.
15.1. What we will do, we will vote on the other consent items and then come back to this 15.1. Do I hear a motion? No. We approved the consent items and then we pulled one. We discuss it after we approve the consent items. Okay. And who was the one? Motion. The second is from Doug Criddle. Is there the first? The motion is made by Doug Criddle. Is there a second? Second by Allison Hastings. Good heavens. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. The rest of the consent items are adopted, and we now have 15.1. Mr. Steeman. It's on page 23.
There's been a lot of concern I've heard from several teachers from several schools regarding the adoption of the new calendar for next year and the timing of certain breaks. I know a lot of our teachers have families outside of the district who are in other school districts, and they're not able to plan vacations, that sort of thing, because their children are out of school a different week than they are. So if there's any possible way to revisit creating a calendar or letting the teachers have more input on the calendar, I think that'd be appreciated by many of them.
I'd also like to get further clarification what the procedures are in developing that, please.
Sure. The calendar is a negotiable item, your school calendar, primarily with your teachers, although there is bargaining with the other units as well, usually. There is a bargaining team that is put together by your association, as well as a bargaining team that's put together by the district. We did meet to discuss the calendar, and we looked at various things. There was some interest in maintaining some consistency year to year around the spring break so that in future years, employees would know when to expect to take the breaks. Just as we negotiate with our bargaining partners, other districts do the same. So there are going to be times where those could be different. One of the things that we did agree to do next year, because we are a little bit late this year, is to start with the subcommittee very early, and so that would then get out to other folks, so that maybe some of the surrounding districts then would follow Marysville as they move forward. So I would ask the board to approve it this evening, as we are in the middle of April, and this is for the 24-25 school year beginning in August.
Are there any questions?
So just for extra clarification, so the teachers have representatives?
Yes, they have a bargaining team similar to what the board has for the district. So there's a bargaining team for the teachers and there's a bargaining team for the district. The same with your other bargaining units. I did run the calendar by OE3 primarily around the holidays, because holidays are set in your classified employees. It's by ed code and then also in your contract. So I work on those with the bargaining units there.
Okay, so a lot of what I've heard from the teachers I've spoken with was in the past they would actually vote every year on their calendar. So that is not something they're doing any longer?
I could not, and so I don't get involved in that part. That's up to their group.
Sure.
Angela?
So just to try to help out some, a little kind of history also might help. I mean, historically, we have not either voted nor have we even bargained the calendar. We've asked in the past to negotiate on the calendar, and that hasn't always happened. Occasionally, we've been provided the opportunity to provide some input, or we've been asked about a specific, holiday or date, or maybe where collaboration days may fall. This was the first year I could think of, and I've been on the bargaining team for over 20 years, where we actually came to the bargaining table in regards to the calendar, full on, full-fledged. One thing I will tell you as far as the February week, there's nothing we can do about the February week. So if you're hearing from teachers, for instance, about the February week, we can't move it. And part of that is due, in fact, to the contract or CBA for another bargaining unit within the district. They have, thankfully, been open to the idea of possibly bargaining that next year, which is why the district has already committed to having a calendar committee next year with representatives from the various units so that we can all sit down and look at that and see what we may be able to do or not do. And as Jessica mentioned with spring break, the consistency factor is what I'm hearing a whole lot about from teachers. They're getting really upset about the fact that, like, for a couple of years, we'll have the week off before Easter, and then for 2 or 3 years, we have the week after Easter off, and then it's another year of it, so we go back and forth, which it didn't used to be that way. For probably, I don't know, a good 15, 16 years that I worked in the district, it was all like we had Good Friday and the week after. That's kind of flopped back and forth, which has created some frustration and some uncertainty, so that's one of the reasons why we brought that forward. I would imagine that part of why the board is hearing from teachers also is, like I just said, this is a first that we've actually fully come in and bargained, negotiated on the contract. And so that's a good sign that was brought before us. We made some headway, really good headway in regards to collaboration days and where to put those. We also, every elementary school teacher's dream in the district, we have the one teacher work day is on November 1st, so that they don't have to be in their classrooms the day after Halloween. So there's some give and take. One of the things that some people may know also that have been here a long time is that we used to have a tri-county calendar committee that was Yuba, Sutter, and Colusa County. And not to cast aspersions, but what happened quite a few times was those people would all come together, and there are some former people that used to sit where Jessica sits now that will tell you that they would come together, they would all agree, and then 1 or 2 of the schools would go off and adopt something different. And so then that's how that committee ended up kind of dissolving, is people got a little angry about we agree to things and then that doesn't happen. But I understand you've been hearing questions. I've been fielding questions as well. And as I've explained it to my members that, this is really a plus in the idea that we've got a commitment to have the various bargaining units in the district look at the calendar next year early and to have some input and some conversation, I think is a big plus.
Okay, yeah, so I just think it would be a good idea because a lot of the teachers, I don't think they even understand how this is going to work for them. So they think we're going to make that decision when it sounds like it's going to be the bargaining team.
Yes and no, or yes and yes, I guess, kind of. We made some decisions at the table. I know the district also I mean, the district brought the calendar to us. And so then there was conversation back and forth. And I do know that at least one other unit had input as well. And so I believe I think that's what's being asked.
Ultimately, it is the board that will adopt a school calendar for the following year with input. So if as you do with any negotiations, a tentative agreement would come in front of you, a calendar would come in front of you. So ultimately, it is the board's decision, but it's the board after the parties have had a chance to talk about it and negotiate it.
Which, sorry, that's what I meant by like the yes or no or yes and yes. That's exactly what I was getting at.
So my largest concern is really surrounding the concept of shared governance, meaning that we get input from everybody in order to decide what we want to do. So I just want to make sure that I understood what was said right now in terms of input from I'm not gonna make the accusation that there's unit members who are expressing their complaint on a calendar that the units agreed to. What I'm going to ask is what was said, this calendar was approved by the various representative group done?
It was brought to the table with MUTA, and that's the calendar that we came to together and negotiated. I had one other unit look at it, but only for purposes of the holidays. I will not say that they negotiated the calendar.
Okay, so to be clear, the only unit that negotiated it was MUTA then, is that correct?
As I said, I did get some input from another unit around where the holidays would land.
Correct, but I want to make
this, the whole calendar.
But I want to make the distinction. One unit was part of bargaining the calendar. One unit was given the cursory to look at the calendar.
Other units were provided that opportunity, though. We all received.
Correct.
We all received.
Correct.
The calendar.
They had an opportunity to object to it.
No, they also had an opportunity to meet with the district just like we do.
Oh, okay.
Every unit in the
so
district
then it's just that
provided,
the unit went one step further.
No, it's a matter of like every unit was provided the draft calendar. And every unit then when you're provided that.
Hold on, that's not completely accurate.
We were told, so.
I did not meet with CSCA. I have not met with them on the calendar. I did give a copy to the representative for OE3. And again, it was talking about the holidays and where they landed primarily. And one of the things we're looking at to do next year is to have input from all of the different units. But when we started this calendar, when I came on, we were already in February. So we were just trying to get it negotiated and get something in front of the board as soon as possible.
So I'm going to ask an adjacent question because this year's calendar, the makeup days are embedded in 2 locations as opposed to the tail end. The adjacent question is, then is it correct that the units that had the opportunity to review the calendar, do they also have an opportunity to understand what does the makeup day mean as well?
I can't speak to what happened last year for this year's calendar. For this year, we looked at doing makeup days that did not require students and teachers to come back at the end of the school year. So one of those days we tried to put within the calendar, and then the second one again is at the end of the calendar.
Yeah, but the question isn't about moving it because I noticed that, yeah, it was in the middle. One is in March 28th, which is the middle of the calendar. Mm-hmm. But the question really goes to, did the units understand what does it mean to have a makeup day? Right? The state mandates that we have to have number of instructional hours for our kids, right? And morally, we're obligated to provide X number of instructional hours to the kids. So the question really goes to the heart of, do we actually understand what does makeup days mean?
So what the state requires now, and I'll let Jen talk a little bit when I'm done, is that if you have had a series of years where you have had school closed for whatever reason, you have to anticipate that and put it into your calendar before you can apply for a waiver. And you have an obligation to have a certain number of instructional days and instructional minutes. It's both. You have to have that 180 days. So if for instance, this year when we closed, we had it put into our calendar as a makeup day. It was published to all of the employees in the community because we did in fact have to use that and have a day off during the year.
Okay, and so I'm going to extend it one step further. Does the representative of those who approve the calendar understands that in both contexts of the way the vacations are laid out and the way makeup days are made?
Well, it wouldn't be vacations, it would be the days, and I believe the representatives of those units understand what a makeup day is, but I can't speak for all of them.
Okay, I'll accept that answer.
So I haven't seen the 24-25 student calendar yet. I know that the makeup day issue we've been talking about, for at least for my units, I got, there's like 6 different calendars we have. Some calendars have their last day as May 31st. And then I got some calendars with transportation where they're doing summer school and there's other routes that they're doing starting on June 4th of this year. So I'm not sure right now if we're talking about 24-25 or if we're still talking about the makeup day from February 25th this year or February 5th this year.
I think we're talking about how this year, we put it into next year, and we will be doing calendars. So what he's referring to is it's easy for teachers. They almost all have 183 days with their work days except for, counselors and so on and so forth. For classified employees, many of the classifications are less than 12-month employees, so you could have a 217-day, you could have a 225-day. Those include their holidays in there. So with that, once the calendar is approved, we have to prepare all of those calendars to get out to employees to let them know what their work calendar is for next year. So once this happens, we will get those out and we will look at the makeup day as we do that.
So if I understand that correctly, then the first calendar in the process of all of the calendar is this student calendar, then is that correct?
Correct. It starts the entire
and the stakeholders that are informed in this calendar, right? Because there's other entities that this calendar just informs, but it's not their final calendar. Because what I'm getting to is not either the last year's calendar, this calendar. What I'm trying to get to is I want to understand to make sure the process is fair across all of the units that it affects. So if I'm hearing this correctly, can I fairly say that the stakeholders that this calendar affects was properly informed to their representative? Not everybody, but at least their representative.
I can't say that. I would say it was negotiated primarily with the teachers union, and that I did have a conversation with Carl around the holidays for this year, and it had to do with spring break when we were meeting on another item. And so we talked about the calendar in that context.
Okay.
If I may too, you had the question about do they understand a makeup day? We've had multiple snow days at Yuba-Sutter and in the past, so we've gone through makeup days, maybe not district-wide, but all the units are affected even with the one school day. So we had 6 makeup days at Yuba-Sutter last year alone just because of the snow. So the units have gone through that process.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion to approve the calendar as is.
All right, Dr. Chung is proposed the motion. Is there a second? Second by Gary Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so the motion carries 5-2. So we have approved the calendar. So I have a comment card. I'm sorry, Angela, I missed it. Do you still want to speak on 16.3? And the consent agenda?
Sure. As far as I could tell, I'm still Angela Stiegel, and I'm still from Marysville High School, and I'm still president of the Marysville Unified Teacher Association. Although as the hours are ticking by, I'm beginning to wonder. So as far as 16.3, and that's the $15,000 that's being squandered on the idea of possibly moving the main office at Marysville High School. I will tell you as a staff member as well as a union leader, we were approached as a staff in a staff meeting about here's an idea, here's a thought. The prevailing opinion from the staff was that moving the office down to what right now is room O was not a feasible plan, not a plan that people cared for, not a plan that people thought was going to be at all conducive or an improvement at Marysville High School. And we were assured that it was just one idea and that we were going to be provided other opportunities to voice our opinions, that we would be provided other opportunities to discuss other ideas, and that has not happened. There has been no further discussion of this issue. I can tell you, as far as somebody in that hallway, I can hear that classroom door open every single time all day long in my classroom. The acoustics in that hallway are not at all conducive to having the main office at the end of that hallway. On top of that, before you vote through $15,000 for this, or even think about voting out any further money for it, try standing outside there in the morning and the afternoon. We have such a completely dangerous, unsafe deal that's going on there. That staff parking lot in 17th Street, I don't know, it's like Daytona or qualifying for the NHRA Nationals every morning and every afternoon. So putting the main entrance of the school there is not at all going to help that situation. And like I said, it won't help the noise. We're also looking at possibly losing green space, although that depends on who you ask. One person assures us we won't, next person assures us we will, next person says they don't know. And I understand that the effort or the idea probably came from a good place. I'm not going to say that it came from, let's just do something awful to Marysville High. I don't think that's it at all. But I will tell you, as somebody who's there every day and has been there every day for 26, 27 years, that we need to go back to the drawing board on this one before $15,000 is completely wasted. Just looking at Mr. Trower's presentation, it looks like we have plenty of other things for which we can spend that $15,000 on, as opposed to throwing more money at a situation that this is not in the end ultimately going to be what Marysville High School needs. So there's no need to, like I said, squander $15,000. It may not be a lot in the grand scheme of our entire budget, but 15 grand is 15 grand. Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving to new business. We're at 17.1, adopt the resolution 2023-24/19, Teacher Appreciation Week. Do we have staff? Okay. We're on page 35. $17.1. Teacher appreciation.
This is our, the district would like to honor the contributions of the teachers to quality education in the state of California by declaring the week of May 6th through May 10th as Teacher Appreciation Week in the Marysville Unified School District. So I'd ask the board to approve Resolution 2023-24/30.
Sorry, Jay. Are there any questions for Jessica? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Frank Crawford. Is there a second? By Doug Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Measure passes. Our motion passes. Now we're at 17.2, adopt resolution 2023-24/20, classified school employee appreciation week.
The district would also like to honor the contributions of the classified school employees to quality education in the state of California by declaring the week of May 19th, 2024 through May 25th, 2024 as classified school employee week in the Marysville Joint Unified School District.
Are there any questions for Jessica? Not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Frank Crawford. Is there a second? Second by Allison Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Measure carries, or motion carries. Now we're at 18.1, Resolution 2023-24/21, authorizing district officials and staff to pursue federal tax credits under the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 with respect to qualifying clean energy projects and approving the execution and delivery of related documents, forms, and actions. Jennifer?
Yes, thank you. So just as you said, this is a resolution that I'm asking the board to approve that authorizes MJUSD officials and staff to take action required to obtain the federal tax credits for the duration of the 2022 Act, and it's required to pursue tax records.
And is this to do with that Foothill solar array along with Cedar Lane? Is that what this is?
It's related to that, yes. Yes.
Are there any questions for Jennifer? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Frank Crawford. Is there a second? Second by Allison Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now we're at 18.2, hold a public hearing and approve Resolution 2023-24/18, adopting development fees on residential, commercial, and industrial development to fund the construction or reconstruction of school facilities. Jennifer?
Yes, this is a two-step process. First, I'm going to ask that you hold a public hearing and then close the public hearing and then approve our justification study. The state board allocation increased our developer fees from $4.79 to $5.17 per square foot for our residential development. And they also increased our commercial and industrial developer fees from 78 cents to 84 cents per square foot. So the law mandates that we prepare and have a justification study done, and that's what we're bringing forward to you now. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board? This is the public hearing. Are there any questions from the audience concerning this? If not, I close the public hearing. Do I have a motion? Proposed by Gary Criddle. Is there a second? Second by Dr. Yang. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Now we are in the, I need a motion to adopt. Okay. The new development fees. Is there a second? Second by Allison Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're at 18.3, approve the engagement letter with Noble Gradick and Company, LLP Tax Services related to the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 Renewable Energy Tax Credit Program for the 2023-24 school year.
Thank you. This is a requirement of the Inflation Reduction Act credit. We must have accountants review and sign off, and so this is, I'm asking that you approve this agreement, and it does come out of the Inflation Reduction credit we will receive.
Are there any questions for Jennifer?
Maybe, yeah, I just don't understand this.
Okay.
Maybe you can give me it in layman's terms, because I'm this one in 18.4 is confusing.
Okay, so as part of to apply for the IRS credit, we have to go through a series of steps of registering with the IRS. Then within those steps, we have to hire an accounting service to go through the proposed investment. It will consist of analysis of the assets to comprise the project for purposes of determining the energy property eligibility for the investment tax. And they just have to go through, and we'll provide all the records to them from our solar energy project, all of our solar panels. And then they identify that it does qualify or doesn't qualify for the Inflation Reduction Act.
This is a yearly expense on this too? Just one time?
No, it's not. It's just for this one time.
Okay.
Yes. You may see it again if our next series, the Foothill and Cedar Lane, qualify for this. I don't know if it's part of this agreement or not, because that's the second phase, but I'll bring that back to you.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Jennifer, just to clarify, to make sure that we're fiscally responsible, we've already gotten the credit, is that correct?
We have not received the credit yet. We're in the process of applying for it. This is part of that registration process.
Okay, and what is the value of that credit?
Currently, it's between $6 and $7 million, though I'm being told it could be higher depending on our free and reduced rates in our county. We know that we have a high level of socioeconomic low level, so we may qualify for larger credit, but right now it's between $6 and $7 million.
And the likelihood of us spending $36,000 and get nothing out of it, what's the likelihood of that?
It's pretty slim.
Pretty slim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Allison Hasty. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Steeman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're at 18.4. Approve the legal services agreement with Jones Hall for services related to the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Goodness, it's been a long night. Renewable Energy Tax Credit Program, 2023-24 school year. Jennifer.
Thank you. This is also related to the Inflation Reduction Act, and these are the attorneys that we are contracting with to help us go through the process and ensure that we do receive this credit. And it's a flat fee of $70,000 that does come out of our inflation reduction credit.
Are there any questions for Jennifer?
I want to clarify a comment that Dr. Yang made. Maybe I misunderstood you, sir, but you talked about the investment in this project. The money is coming out from the refundable tax credit, so it's not general fund inflected. Am I right?
Is that statement correct? Or in both contract, the money is paid out of the credits then?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part?
Well, Dr. Fowl said the clarification is that both the $70,000 and $36,000 is coming out of the credit itself.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that is even more favorable, because when I asked that question, what is the risk? Then the risk is actually zero, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Oh, yes. Yeah, I thought you were asking what is the risk of us not receiving the credit.
No. I'm asking the risk of the return on investment.
Yeah.
Dr. Fowl caught my question.
Yeah, thank you.
Which is that the risk of the return on investment is zero, because if we don't get the credit, there's no fee. Okay.
Right.
And if you read down there in budget source, it says funding will come out of the 2022 refundable energy tax credit program proceeds. Okay? Any other comments or questions for Jennifer? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Frank Crawford. Is there a second? Second by Allison Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have one public comment from Joanna.
Good evening again. I just have one, perhaps it's a request, but if you look at the time, it's 8:30. We've been here since 5:30. If you look in the room, how many parents are in the room? Zero. You know, there's nobody out there. Very few. They're all staff or whatever. Putting public comment at the end is not helpful. It's not encouraging to families, to parents who perhaps want to have a say in any of the matters. It's not helpful. I truly believe that it was put on the end to keep us quiet. Whatever, it is what it is. But you send out texts regarding meetings, all kinds of different things, you know, for FFA, for different things throughout the school. Why don't you try sending out a text message that there's things on the agenda that maybe parents would be interested in? Send that out to all the parents and maybe you would get some response, unless you don't want the parents to be here, because that's what it feels like. So I would request that it be moved back, like every public meeting I have ever been to, it's always in the beginning of the meeting until we started making a stand, and then you bump it to the end. I find it extremely disrespectful, and I would request that it be moved back to where it was. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more comment card from Jolie Lovell. I'm sorry I missed your card.
Good evening. My name is Julie Lovell, and I'm a proud mom of 4 children, 3 of which attended this school within this district. I wish I could stand here and say how proud I am that my children are a part of this district and that this board does an efficient job of protecting our youth. I wish I could stand here and state that our children are not exposed to disturbing behaviors nor indoctrinated by demented and false realities. The truth is, I stand here to declare that the sickness that has infiltrated our school walls are not only disgusting, but that the toleration of it has to stop. There's a generation of parents rising up to take a stand against this atrocity. At our bogus secondary, my 11-year-old son has been targeted as a bully by the administrator because he barked at a group of students who identify as some type of animal, commonly referred to as a furry. This group of kids are allowed to dress in costume, including animal full-faced masks, tails, and walk around on all fours. During the specific incident, a staff member at our BOGA stood watch around a territory that was marked out by furry students, marking it like dogs do traditionally. These furries then proceed to parade around on all fours, reenacting their idea of animals mating. My son was brought into the principal's office and treated as a bully for barking at the group of furries who had initiated the barking. I, of course, inserted myself into a meeting and explained to Mr. Seiler that my child's right to comfortably learn is no less important than the furry kids. And had my son been wearing something politically offensive or something biblical, he would be asked to change for the comfort of other students, but this costume play is not only allowed, it is encouraged. Mr. Seiler, the school principal, was less than impressed with our discussion as he insulted my choices as a mother and implied that my husband and I raise bullies with bully mindsets because we raise strong-willed men to stand for what they believe. Following my not-so-successful conversation with Mr. Seiler, the communication between school staff and myself has completely diminished. Not on my accord, but the staff stopped notifying me when my child has been involved in altercations. Such altercations were the result of other students bullying him. He came home March 28th with a black eye, and I did not receive a call. The final straw for me was this past week when my son was sprayed by a group of kids with silly string. My son retaliated and sprayed a bottle of water on them, to which upset one girl so much she punched my son in the face in front of the school security officer, and he told him he deserved it. My son was given lunchtime detention while his counterpart received no reprimand. The following day, my son told the office and staff that they needed to call me if they were going to discipline him, to which they responded, they don't have to tell his mom anything while he's here. I'm going to cut out a lot because I'm running out of time, but I ask you, board members, what measures are being taken by you on your end to prevent this? How do we move forward with faith in this district that our children are not only safe from physical harm, but that they aren't continually exposed to and indoctrinated by perversion? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
In the heart of Yuba County's wine country lies a quiet estate, surrounded by tall pines, a lake with waterfowl and fish, and room to party, eat hearty, engage in nuptials. I do. Sit quietly by the fire pit and sample Yuba Foothills Vintner's finest. Frenchtown Inn, just 38 minutes from Marysville, a world away from cares.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba-Sutter and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba-Sutter and Nevada counties.